Okay. All right. How do we start this? Hello, Stigma-Free Crusader. It's very nice to meet you.
Good morning, fellow citizen.
My name is TA. I'll just quickly like to introduce myself. This is our first time meeting. My name is TA. It's short for Tuan An. I'm with NAMI Santa Clara County over in San Jose, California. And I have been with NAMI for, I guess, since June. So it's been about 5 months. I'm with their FaithNet team, where we work with congregations, different faith congregations in the area, promoting mental health awareness. I'm recently started helping out with social media, and how I found out about you was really cool. I just saw one of your posts on Instagram, and I was like, I like this guy. I already like this guy. I like what he's doing. I like how he's promoting mental health in his own way that is innovative. And so I wanted to get the chance to meet you, to hear your story, to hear how everything, how Stigma-Free Crusader started. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me here.
Okay, are you okay with starting with the questions?
Sure.
All right. So Stigma-Free Crusader, who are you and what is your mission?
Well, like you said, first of all, my name is the Stigma-Free Crusader. I am a mental health superhero. I reside in the Middle Peninsula, Northern Neck, in Warsaw, Virginia. And one of my things I do is I work with ages from child all the way up to adults, helping them in recovery and mental health and stigma, to teach them what's the good and bad out of it and help them with the recovery.
I love it. I love it. And it's such an interesting way to promote mental health. Like, how did it start? How did you come up with the idea?
Well, I came up with the Stigma-Free Crusader back when the pandemic, after a couple of months after the pandemic started. I was visiting around online to all these meetings and all that. And, I thought, how cool would it be to have a superhero who is out there just to help support everybody out there in the world online virtually, because you can't be with them everywhere. But be able to be, when I created it, I used it to help get the word out too. I talk to teens and children. I use the character to help them, because a lot of the young generations love superheroes, and help them to let them know that they're heard, that they're heard, and they can be someone to talk to and to listen, when they ain't got nobody else.
Mm. That's beautiful. That's very touching. I know, especially starting in the pandemic too. I know a lot of people's mental health has suffered, and I can't imagine what it's like being, a kid, being a teen during this time. Um, are there any, I guess, stories or interactions that you can share, if you don't mind sharing, about you interacting with the kids and the teens?
Well, kids and teens, I'm still working with one right now, a 16-year-old here in Virginia. She's been going through a rough time. She's from a family of 8 kids, so she's going through a lot mentally, but I work with her, to help let her be heard, because she feels like the parents aren't listening, she feels like nobody listens, but she comes to me to talk because she feels like I'm there to listen and help her whenever she needs, in the needs of what she needs mentally. Mm-hmm. Another one, this is actually in a more of the adult age range. I have one out of Virginia here too, that I talk to a lot, that goes through a lot mentally. And she says, ever since I've started this stuff, it's made a big impact on her life. No matter when she falls down, she comes to the stuff and just reads what I post, and it helps inspires her more to feel from feeling down and depressed.
I think that's it's a very noble cause. I think the way that you do it is it's innovative. There's something that's, as a person who struggled with, like, mental health, especially as a teen. I can only imagine, like, how that feels to have someone there with you, and to have someone listen to you, to be heard and understood. Man, I'm thankful that you do this kind of work. It's very needed. It's hard work too. Thank you. Wow. What would you say your superpower is? Yeah.
Superpower, first of all, is defeating stigma. Is always the number one thing.
Mm.
And I don't know if you ever seen my post on Instagram and all that, but I have weapons, good weapons that is, and
Okay.
they're all named in a way. I don't have them all with me today,
Yeah.
but this one you probably remember from the pictures. But I call this my Stigma Slicer, which is, of course, a fences sword. It ain't really coming in very well
The
because of
stigma. I see it. The Stigma Slicer. What kind of
and
sword
then
is it again? Sorry. What kind of sword?
that's the Stigma Slicer.
Okay.
You know, to slice through stigma when it
Love it.
needs. We take a slice out of stigma.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
my other ones, I call them the nunchucks of recovery. Hopefully I don't
Oh.
have to ever have to use them, but the recovery of it. After you take away the stigma, the recovery comes in.
Dang, that's amazing. It's a 1-2 combo. You got to slice it with the Stigma Slicer, and you come in with the nunchucks of recovery. I love it.
Yeah, and there's a third one I ain't got with me today, but I call it the light of wisdom, where it leads the light that leads the way. It's like a lifesaver, what you will find in Star Wars.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I imagine like that makes mental health and just the whole recovery journey kind of easier to understand,
Yeah.
more accessible, especially to kids who love superheroes. And
Oh yeah.
you package it in a way that makes sense to them. Yeah. Did you have any inspirations behind this idea? Like, is it a superhero that inspired you, or yeah, what is your inspiration?
Funny to say, I consider, outside of, stuff, I'm a big wrestling fan. I like to watch, wrestling, WWE and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, y'all have somebody from y'all's neck of the woods that's in WWE. But one of the characters that got me to where I come up with my catchphrases, talks, and all that, how I talk, is the Hurricane off of WWE.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it about the Hurricane that inspires you?
Well, he was like that regular superhero, even though it was regular life superheroes like Superman, but I consider him in the mental health way, but he stood up for what was needed, always there for people when they need it, like a superhero would be, and was not afraid of the bigger opponents, like Stigma to me, it's like a giant. So just like him, I would step up to that giant and try to take out the Stigma giant, to be a superhero for that.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it reminds me of like David and Goliath. You're
Exactly.
trying to fight this huge giant stigma. It's hard to fight. You can't fight it on your own. No one can fight it on their own. Yeah, it's awesome. I used to watch WWE I used to watch it too. Yeah, I remember watching it, and my favorite wrestler was Rey Mysterio, 619.
He's still wrestling.
I love that he is. It's amazing. It's his passion. I see this passion in you too. I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He is a good old David and Goliath story when it comes to some of those wrestlers.
Yeah, right. It really is, like, in the ring. He is a David. Let's see. Are there any? I'm kind of going off the script here, so I hope you don't mind.
All right.
Do you? What are some challenges that you face in this fight to stigma? Like, what does a hard day look like for you?
I fight personally alone. I fight with depression and anxiety. That's my biggest challenges sometimes. When I'm not the Crusader helping out people, or things around me where I'm busy, I have the severe depression that makes me feel down, and my anxiety kicks in, especially when I'm by myself, because I'm scared sometimes of what could happen and all that. That's one of the biggest challenges I have to fight every day. Is definitely the anxiety. Before the pandemic even started and all this, I would not even probably do this kind of stuff, but since putting on this Crusader outfit and everything, becoming the Crusader, it has boosted a lot out of me, since doing that. It took away some of the anxiety of meeting new people, chatting with people, sharing my story with people I never even knew, kind of like what we're doing right now. This is, I mean, we talked on the internet. This is the first time we've meeting sort of face to face virtually.
Yeah, right.
And I ain't gonna lie, I was nervous before all this, but
me too.
What would the Crusader do? Would he be scared and run away, or would he, So, he keeps up and do what he promises.
I love that. I love that, and I definitely agree with you. I was nervous. It's kind of scary meeting someone for the first time, and the fact that we're doing an interview, and like it takes a lot of courage. I think to be here on both sides. For you to share your stories, for you to share that you go through, your major depressive disorders, major depression and anxiety. And it's like I struggle with anxiety too. And it is a daily battle. Um, I guess that's why I'm at NAMI too, and that's why people like you inspire me, to keep fighting this fight against stigma. Yeah. How did you first hear about NAMI? I guess NAMI in Virginia.
Well, for the place I work for a place called Middle Peninsula CSB, which is the Community Service Board here in Warsaw. We have a program here called at Warsaw Peer Recovery Center. And we have one of our programs we do here weekly is NAMI's Connection Groups. And I started by attending those groups, and I started talking with the facilitator at the time of those groups. And she encouraged me more to go into doing the other stuff like In Your Own Voice,
Right.
peer-to-peer recovery,
Right.
and becoming a facilitator myself.
Wow. I actually I did a peer-to-peer course too. If I can show you my shirt, this is our class empathy shirt. And so empathy is our superpower. And so as a class, we decided to get a shirt, and it was different because the class was all online. It's harder to connect with people, online. It really is. Like I wish I could be there with you in person, interviewing you and playing with your weapons and trying them out myself,
I would have definitely let you.
Thanks. Let's see. I guess too, like I guess just between like I guess like for us, like for the purpose of the interview, like I will edit the video to make sure like any pauses or anything like to make it kind of seamless, to make it
Yeah.
It's just to let you know. So I hope you don't mind like the silence at times in between questions.
It's all good.
Thanks. Okay, so I'll go back on script. So with every mission that we fight, with every fight that we fight, the goal is that lives are changed, lives are impacted. And we heard a little bit the two stories that you shared about the people that you help. What is the overall impact that the Stigma-Free Crusader has had on people so far? You started during the pandemic. Like, what is the impact so far? Like, you have a good amount of followers, and like,
I'm amazed just by the millions, not millions, but in my
yet,
mind it's
yet.
like millions to me. But all the followers I got, one of the things they can tell you, including my supervisor that you saw earlier, and them tell me it doesn't matter if you have 1 or 500, it's but the impact you make on the person, but a lot of those people, the encouragement I hear from them, from y'all, from the other people that send me messages privately, they talk about how much they encourage that helps them, to hear that they got positivity out of it, felt like they were heard or felt like they've been helped. It's one of the biggest missions I felt like, I can complete is to keep that up, to keep that positivity up for y'all. I want y'all to stay happy and positive, even while this pandemic is still going on,
Yeah. On days where it's hard for you to be positive, on days where you have to take care of yourself, and take care of, and continue to fight your fight. Like, what are some things that you do to, to show yourself some love? Yeah.
What I do for myself personally is, just if I had to do something on a regular basis, I take a walk on the hiking trail. We built one here at the place where I work at. I also do stuff like music therapy, and that's one of the things I do every day before work and after work. It's always at least 30 minutes worth of it. It can be whatever type of playlist you like, just like that. And it's, relaxes you.
Yeah.
Other stuff I do, I also locally acting in a local drama team for the holiday season for December, which I will definitely share the links to that stuff for y'all when the time
Yeah,
comes for the
yeah,
Facebook page for it.
yeah,
Y'all can watch the play from online. I'll be doing that this year.
definitely.
On Sundays, I actually still work in the mental health field on Sundays, even though I don't get paid, but I volunteer at the local church working with the teens and children there, just to be there just in case they need that peer to talk to.
Mm.
And I do other stuff for the church there too, work with tech, help the youth minister get his stuff together,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a personal assistant.
yeah. Do you come in as the Stigma-Free Crusader? Are you wearing the outfit?
They won't let me do that there
Oh,
for safety reasons.
I guess that
But
makes sense. That
a
makes
lot of
sense.
people do know about it on the adult side of who I am, and they follow me on Facebook, and they actually are some of my supporters there too. When things go on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's amazing. I like what you said about music therapy. I didn't really appreciate the healing power of music until recently. Like there are times when I am just dead and tired, just had a long day, and I don't have time for like a nap or something, or I don't want to drink coffee, but just listening, putting on like these headphones and just listening to
Yeah.
like a good song, it's um, helps me rest. Helps me rest. So I'm glad you do all those things, and I imagine the hikes in Virginia are pretty nice.
Oh yeah, they got a lot of good hiking trails outside of our center here. Just to walk through the woods. On a nice, cool weather day. It helps relax the mind.
Yeah,
You just walking through the paths could take your mind just away for a minute, no matter what's on your mind, because you focus on what's ahead in that path and not what's going on behind you. Like mental health recovery.
yeah, yeah. I I know with hiking, I always focus too much. I tend to focus too much on the destination. Like it's hard. I want to practice being in the moment. Do you have any tips on being present, on being in the moment?
This book, like I was mostly just saying, just focus on what's ahead. At the spot you're at. I always I use a weird phrase with people when they ask about the past. I always say, look through the windshield, not the rearview mirror, because what's behind you is not what you want to see. Just
Mm,
like staying in the moment, just enjoy life while you can at the moment, because everything can change in a minute,
mm,
because if we don't enjoy it, we're going to go, why didn't we?
huh, huh. That's I think that's powerful. I think that's powerful. It's like why didn't we? Why didn't we enjoy it while we could? Um, and it's hard because I think mental illness, it takes people away from the present. It's hard to really enjoy the fullness of life if you're fighting this fight, fighting this battle. Like for example, like my anxiety, is just like it takes me away from the present. It's I think you can, maybe you can relate, but it's just like it's hard to. It's hard to. So when you are with the people, you are helping, like the teens or anyone else, um, you're listening to them, you're being present with them. Um, I'm curious, like how do you listen to them? For people out there wanting to be a better listener, who want to be present for someone in their pain, do you have any tips, suggestions? Like what do you do?
First I was just listening to their story, first of all, to hear their overall story, because once they feel like they got the overall story out, they can, and they give you their attention. Like I actually would look them eye to eye, in the contact, those are the moments I will set my phone down,
Mm,
pay attention to them so they don't think, oh, he's looking at his phone, he's not caring. So
mm,
I do all that kind of stuff where I put that aside, just look at them straight to straight, listen to what they're telling me, and try to communicate with them with the best advice I can while listening to their story.
mm,
You know, it's sometimes it's a tough to do it, especially if you're in a crowded place, to listen to them. But it's always about the focus, as long as they feel like you're focused and you're listening to them, that builds the trust between you and the person, that if they feel like they're trusted, they can tell you anything they need to do, you know.
yeah, I think that like removing distractions, like putting your phone away, I think it's a good sign that like there'll be times when I'll be like sharing a meal with someone, and I see someone, say like someone goes to their phone, like they get a message notification, they go to their phone as I'm sharing or just talking about anything, and
Yeah.
it kind of hurts a little bit, but there are also times when I'm with people and I see them put away their phone, like they flip their phone over, and it's like it's a sign to the other person, like, hey, I want to be here with you,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I do like mental health one-on-one workshops with my team. I'm part of the Vietnamese FaithNet team, and we talk about like in the FaithNet team, in our presentations we talk about protective factors for mental health, and connection is one of the most powerful protective factors, I would say, and so I think that is, I would say, like, I think that's what you do. You connect with people and you make them feel not alone. That's, it's a really heroic thing you're doing, you know. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you. Have you inspired other people to like do something similar? I feel like kids might want to uh, you know, um, start their own like superhero channel or something like that. Like, have you inspired others to do
I
something
haven't
like that?
seen any of that yet happen, but I can say out of my own family,
Hmm.
I have my youngest nephew. I went to go visit him for the first time during the summer since the pandemic.
Yeah.
He was trying to make his own superhero mask and all that. Here I am, I was getting ready to go for a sleep study. I carried my Crusader stuff with me to take pictures for social media, just to have some fun with the Crusader squad. I
Yeah.
actually took pictures with that mask on at a sleep doctor's place. But I walked outside, put it on, came back in the house for him. First thing he does is drops everything and just stares at me like, who the heck are you? But it hyped him up from his father said. He said,
Yeah.
you really made his day just doing that.
Oh man.
You know, just
Yeah.
being the character itself, is just fun and hype, even if it doesn't help with the mental health all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't recorded, but like when you first came on the Zoom call and I said like hello, like Stigma-Free Crusader, and you said hello, fellow citizen, like that made me happy. Like I'm like yes, like this guy is my superhero. He acknowledges me, and I think I can only imagine what that is like as a kid, as your nephew, like to see this real life superhero. And yeah, that's
Believe me, I
amazing.
enjoyed this character so much. I got to debut it last year at our Recovery Fest here at Warsaw. We do at our center. We've done it for 2 years now. The first appearance I made overall in this character, I think everybody just stopped and stared at me because they were like, "Who in the world is this guy
Yeah, yeah.
walking with his sword on the top of a hill?"
Man, you said welcome to the sword. Is that what you said?
I walked around with the fencing sword in my hand,
Oh,
the Stigma Slicer.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
on top
yeah.
of a hill because we're in the backyard here at the work, and I'll just stand up there with the sword up in my hand up in the air.
You must have had a lot of people coming up to you, like asking, like, what is this? What are you doing?
Some people in public has asked that before, where I would go out and sell NAMI tickets for
Yeah,
NAMIwalk season. They're like, "Hey, it's Zorro." No, I'm not Zorro.
yeah. No, you're better than Zoro. Well, what are people's like first reaction when you kind of tell them what you do?
Well, at first they're kind of like wondering what I did, because
Mhm.
they're like, a grown man dressing up as a superhero in public.
Yeah,
First of all, it was a laugh for them, which is good because it's good that they're getting a good laugh because laughter is the best medicine.
yeah,
But a lot of times I explained to people what it was after we got on and talking, and it inspired them to see that I was doing something that way just to help, promote mental health and all that.
mm,
A lot of people were inspired, by it when I did it, when I first started, but I'm trying to get the words right because even
mm.
I'm getting that way sometimes. But
I don't
just to get to tell them the stories, and and a lot of times it helps people bring out their stories because they
Yeah,
don't know who they might be really talking to behind the mask. They're mostly talking to the person in front of the mask. you know,
mm, mm,
it helps let them out a little bit easier. That
yeah,
they feel like somebody's there to listen.
Yeah, I agree. Like when you said that, like in it, I think you said it inspires like other people to share their story. I think I've heard this recently from someone like I look up to, and he said like bravery is contagious. Like you see someone do something brave, like that inspires you. Like you want to
Exactly.
do something brave too. And so like I see what you're doing as something brave, and that inspires me. I don't know how to make that mask. It looks like a really good mask. Like, it looks like it fits really nicely. But I would totally. Um, yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is that you are inspiring. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Um, now I have to ask about the mask. Like, how do you make that mask? Like, can you tell us how?
I actually bought it.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm not good at making things.
Yeah, me neither. But it looks like it fits really nicely. Like it molds to your face, so it's good. It was just meant to be.
Yeah.
Just meant to be on your face.
Yeah, I've tried different ones, and this is about the only one that does the best.
Yeah.
Especially when you got the ears covered, because if your ears are covered, they don't feel like you're listening.
Okay.
So it helps inspire staff.
That's a good point. That's true. And the hat is part of the outfit too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I usually, on a regular basis, wear a cape and all that. And the shirt,
okay.
of course, like you were talking about yours. I bought this off of online, but
The future
ain't doing good. But the future is stigma free.
Mm.
The original shirt I wore, like you saw in the Halloween picture, that was actually a dragon one about defeating stigma, but that was created by one of our local artists here in our local NAMI that won the contest that year for our wall. And I was using that as the shirt for a long time because I was like, well, let's see, I'm a warrior fighting, got to have a dragon on the shirt.
Yeah. What inspires your creativity?
Growing up, I've always had the imagination of things, no matter what I work in, acting world, I've learned how to improvise and inspire myself through that. Cooking, I've learned how to create things off of low budgets, or on the spot when you ain't got much. So it's like, I'm very creative at the top of my head, because they say in here in the mental health ward over here on me, they say, we can already tell that you're thinking before to solve a problem before the problem starts.
Yeah.
So I'm always on the spot thinking, trying to strategize out ahead of time, what I'm going to think or do. It helps inspires my creativity inside the brain to think of how to say it or how to do things right.
Yeah. I like how you brought up cooking. That's interesting to be creative with cooking.
Oh, yeah.
Like making the most out of what you have, I think like I would say like like anyone can make an Instagram account. Anyone can post a few photos, can buy a mask and put it on. But like the impact that you have, it's like it's big. It's you made a lot out of something so small, I guess, if I could say. Yeah.
And I could tell you, I'm surprised at how far it's gotten. When I started it, like I said, I didn't even know if I was going to get one follower. It's like they're probably going to be like, oh, there's somebody else looking for fame online, which I'm kind of not. But I want people to know that there's this cool superhero that help people, but I'm not doing it for fame, money. I'm doing it to help people. Because when the pandemic started, I virtually traveled all over the United States, to Canada, and to UK online to all these events for NAMI or some other events, just to meet people with mental health and learn more about their stories in other states and all that, to help inspire them that way. I even got to bring the character a couple of times to the other states, to help inspire them. A couple of years ago, for their pre-rally, I worked with NAMI Hawaii and brought the character to them for their pre-walk stuff, when we were doing online. So just to get to do all that and meet people, and see their stories and listen to theirs. So it's like, wow, there's people like you there in other states and all that to help inspire it to keep going. And there was states where people were hyped up to see me.
Yeah.
And there were states where people were like, who the heck is this?
Man, that's incredible. The Stigma-Free Crusader is international. Like you are getting virtually, we'll say virtually flown out to these places to speak, and that, man, that is it shows that that's what people need. That's what people want, you know. Like I get excited when I tell my friends about what you do. I'm like, yeah, I've never wanted to interview someone like this before. Never wanted to like hear their story like this before because it's so, I don't know. It's just it shows. I don't know how to say this, but it's just like it's inspiring, and I just want to get to know you. Yeah, yeah,
Well, it's big no matter what. This was big too on my side of things.
yeah,
My coworkers and everything can tell you how much we've been discussing this stuff for over a week. Just like
yeah,
talking about like plan out, can we do it to make it work time? It's, they were actually working with me this morning to stay calm because I'm like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do, because,
yeah, yeah,
I enjoy, like I said, I'm good for speaking for people and helping people, but sometimes when it's yourself, it's a lot harder when you're not used to it,
yeah, yeah,
and especially when it's a group across the country, it's like, wow,
yeah, yeah.
you know,
I know. I had to say like I agree too. I was nervous too. I was doing some Tai Chi before this too. I was like, I don't know what questions I'm gonna ask. Like, am I gonna just bomb this interview? Am I gonna be a horrible host? Is he gonna regret this? But I think once you hopped on, I got to meet you, like those like fears, doubts, like just kind of went away. Um,
yeah, I never judge anybody badly on
yeah,
ways they do things, on things, because like I said, I've been to so many different NAMI groups, met different hosts, and all that. I have never met a bad one yet since I've started doing all this. And you ain't no bad either. You're just one of the best I've had. You had the calm, you're all calm, you're not, pressuring me or anything.
yeah, and I appreciate you. You're open too, which makes things which makes my job easy. I'm just asking my curious questions. Um, but I also I wanted to hear more about, you mentioned about like your depression, anxiety, and I wanted to, if you're comfortable, I wanted to ask you more about like your road in your mental health and like your road to recovery. Like, do you mind sharing a little bit about that, whatever you're comfortable with?
Well, a lot of my depression and anxiety came from the childhood, because I grew up in a abusive family, a father that always put you down, mentally, is always using the stigma phrases to put you down. You ain't worth nothing. You never be nothing, that would bring up my depression because I felt like I was worth nothing, and all that. It's tough because I didn't have support systems around me while growing up, to help me feel supportive and all that and heard, so a lot of my depression came from that growing up. And when I was out on my own, I was alone. I was alone for a long time by myself, because I left my family. I was trying to live life on my own. A lot of that was depressing too, because I was by myself. Anxiety was mostly because I was always nervous because I got really ill back in 2013 with a condition called basilar artery insufficiency, which slows down the blood flow to the brain sometimes, and I was always getting dizzy and all that, where my anxiety was always like, what if I pass out? What if this happens in public? I was scared when people would look at me when I was kind of like lopsided walking around because I couldn't keep vertigo spells from getting dizzy a lot. A lot of that anxiety came from that because I wasn't sure what was going to happen, you know, and sometimes crowds was that way, but it wasn't as bad. I was just trying to figure out what you were doing there.
You said the crowds weren't that way. Is that what you said?
But when I saw crowds, like say when I first started acting and all that, it was like
Mm,
anxiety because you're like, what's their opinion on you? What are they going to say?
yeah,
That kind of stuff, goes through your mind. Kind of like, like you said, going into an interview, you're getting that anxiety because you're like, is this person going to think I'm creepier now or
yeah,
scary?
yeah,
Or not like I expected him to be.
right. That
That kind
fear
of
of like
anxiety builds up in you too.
yeah, that fear of judgment, I think. Fear of
Yeah.
judgment.
Because that's how I grew up, with the father saying things, that can build the anxiety too, you know. But once all that happened, when I was alone and all that, I started coming to where I work now that helped boost my confidence, help me with the depression, help me with the anxiety. They've been supportive for me when there's been bad days, and they've been supporting me when there was good days.
Mm.
They're always there for me no matter what, and that's one of the biggest boosts I've had since my road to recovery was being here, and then adding NAMI on top, then adding this on top now has also been
Yeah.
the biggest boost too, because I'm not as scared anymore to do things like I used to, you know. I feel braver since becoming the Crusader, that helps with the anxiety and depression, because I know when I'm doing it, I'm not alone, because there's not this me, there's people like you, there's followers that I have that I probably haven't talked to yet that feel alone too. But when they come to this stuff, they feel like we're not alone, and that's the big support system, that's what's really helped me.
You brought up I want to ask, when you said that uh, there's a point when you said that like you were going through your stuff and then you went to go get help to where you work get help at where you work at right now. What got
Mhm.
you to do that? Because I think that's hard for some people to one, like admit that they needed help and then go find the help that they need, or to acknowledge that they need help.
Well, I had a therapist at the time at the CSB counseling center that she was like, because she knew I felt alone a lot. And she was like, well, there's this place right up the street here called 84 Main, which was the original place at the time before we moved here. And she's like, well, they got groups, this and that. She gave me the calendar, and I was like, maybe I should just give it a try for one day just to see what it was like. I came for one of the events here, and that was like, I felt this for the moment I walked in there, I felt like the comfort, because you didn't feel like you were you weren't that one, like the one kid in class that you felt like you were going to be picked on. You didn't have that feeling when you came there, because everybody was alike, same, because we're all in recovery. And when it comes to this stuff, it helped me when I came in, because I felt like I wasn't alone. There was people to talk to, there were people, I never thought I would have been brought to a place like that, and be able to work there years later too.
Mm-hmm. What connections did you make there?
Connections wise, NAMI was one of the connections I made while here. Working with the local affiliates here, programs that they offer for us to have here, hard to explain.
Yeah.
Because but a lot of people here, I knew from the outside world, outside of the program, I met on numerous bases and got to meet new people I never thought I would, once I was in here. But that's what really expires it.
What makes that kind of like space a safe space?
Sorry about that.
No worries, no worries, no worries, no worries.
But it makes it feel like a safe place, like I said, because you're not alone and people are here for you and all that, because when you get that support system around you, it helps you a lot better, because when you're not alone, people are there to listen, but it just don't make you feel nervous when you come in here. It's like that one classroom, where everybody's loved and cared, like a family.
Yeah.
And we would do anything for each other here, just like a family, because that's how much we care about each other.
I love that. I love that. I think from my own experience working at NAMI, like I feel the same. Just being a place where people, are brave to share their stories. You hear stories from all walks of life, and it's just people coming together, just being real, just being them, And
Yeah.
I know, like when I hear people's story, when I see people just being them, like it makes me feel like it's okay to be me too, in my own
Yeah.
brokenness and my own struggle, And so it's why I love the mental health like world, you know. It's just very real people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's good to find a group when that you're all like, even though it's differently in different ways,
Yeah.
Because you all have one thing in common. We're all in recovery. We all are a support system, we all care, about each other. That's good to have that kind of stuff. Because when you have that, you're not alone.
Yeah, yeah. And and in our faith net presentations, one of the slides that we have is like recovery is a road not walked alone.
Yep,
It really is.
exactly.
Yeah, and like everyone's fighting like their own different fight. Everyone's fight is different, but we're there for each other, like rooting for each other.
Yep.
Um, so I wanted to ask, like, so I'm sure like the Avengers, right? There's like the Avengers, and there's like individual superheroes. It's a team. Who
Yeah.
who is who would you say is your team of superheroes?
Well, first of all, one of them I got, like you met her earlier. She's one of my team people, that part of this team, because she's one of the biggest encouragers I have here when I'm at the center. She helps supports me, even though when I originally created this character, it sounded like it was going to be a flop. She still encouraged me to continue to do it. She was actually part of the people originally trying to help me name the character when we first started, and even when I came to the new name, when I had to switch names, to where I am now, because I used to be NAMI Crusader before I became Stigma-Free Crusader, for reasons. But she was one of the ones that told me, she's like, Stigma-Free Crusader actually would be the best thing to do, because that's talking about still defeating bad things in mental health, that you're still supportive in the mental health ways by being the stigma-free side of things, because you're preventing the bad words from people. She's supportive of that. And that's what I love about her as the character, being with me, and the manager of helping me with all this stuff. I have lots of other people that could be on this team easily, and I got others out there that are supportive. I consider this the same way, because they're there for me no matter what happens. If there's the bad days and there's the good days, they're there to support you through it, and I could say my biggest sidekick superheroes of all are actually my Crusader squads, fans and all that, out there who support me, because when I use the catchphrase since becoming Stigma-Free Crusader, we're all champions when we're stigma-free, not just one champion, we're all champions, and that's like a team of superheroes right there, and that's what makes it enjoyable to know that you have a whole group, not just yourself, to fight the world.
Is there anything you want to say to the Crusader squad, to the people watching this? Is there a message you have for them?
First of all, I want to tell them straight out, if they're watching, I want to say thank you all for the support y'all have done through all this time, and I want to continue to still be that superhero for all of y'all as long as I can, and I hope that I get to travel one day and get to meet everybody if I can, by group or in person, maybe one day that I could be able to travel to Santa Clara, and meet you guys there, instead of virtually, or, I want to continue to be that way. And I want to thank y'all for y'all support. And we want to stay stigma free, and one of the best catchphrases I like to tell people, you see it in my Instagram, brave, strong, and courageous. Always be that, because in life, we need to be brave. We got to be strong and courageous. When you're brave, you don't fear anything. When you're strong, you defeat the stigma. And courageous is have some fun, enjoy life,
Yeah. That was a beautiful message. Beautiful message.
And I know that's based off, if everybody knows, out of the faith-based group will know, that's based off the Bible verse, Joshua 1:9, about being brave, strong, and courageous,
I saw that in your email signature. Yeah.
I always like to leave that on there for people, for them to know that. Because, yes, I work in the mental health world, but I also want to let them know, yes, I have a Christian side to me to help y'all that way too, because I use that. I don't always use it because you don't want the backlash of everybody on the internet. But if somebody came to me and talked in the Christian way, I'd use all that stuff for them, because I work with any way they need.
Yeah, and it shows who you are as a person. Like you're being real, you're being you. This is, I'm sure, like your Christian faith is important to you, and
it is.
And like I respect that. I really do. Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. Be brave, strong, courageous.
Yep. Always remember that. When things happen, if I can never say and inspire you to song, look up Justin Gray's band, and he has a song called "Strong and Courageous."
Said Justin Gray like the color.
Justin Gray's band.
I'll write that down.
It's a kid's song, but it inspires you just like in the mental health way because of the lyrics. When he says, "When trouble comes, I will trust in Him." Just think about it, and that song's about being brave, strong, and courageous.
Well, what's the title? Song.
Strong and Courageous.
Strong and Courageous. All right. I'm gonna look that up after this.
Yeah, he's a Christian-based singer, and his daughter's getting into the world of it now because she's an actor. That's how I got to meet them. But she forged me to her father's music, and when I started hearing that song, I was like, "Put that with your Crusader character. That will work." So the catchphrase, and then using the Bible verse after that, when I sign autographs, I will put that on there for people, because I want them, if they're the Christian base, they look down and, or if they're not, they look at it and go, "What does that mean?" They look it up, see what it means, that helps inspires them that way too.
Well, what are the goals for Stigma-Free Crusader now? Like what's coming up for you?
I want, to continue to do what I can, to help encourage people and inspire people. I want to get my word more out. Like I said, I'm not doing it to be famous or money, but I want to get the word out more so we feel like people around the world can feel like they got that word out more. And one of my bigger goals personally is I'm going to work hard to try to get a grant one day to start working with my own centers one day for teens and children, and young adults, helping them as they come into from translating from school to the real world and help them understand what can happen and that people are there for them as resources and peers, and mental health support as they make the transition from high school to the real world. That's one of the biggest goals I want to do right now is to do all that.
I love that. I just picture like a clinic or a center where everyone is wearing a Stigma-Free Crusader outfit. I think that would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Yeah, every day just opening up that door and they'll be walking in and just greeted by the guy in the mask and costume.
Yeah.
If I had the better goals of it though, I would try to do the YouTube stuff, but I'm not good at making videos and editing. I mean, you might see a few things of mine, but it's all live videos.
Yeah.
No editing.
Yeah. It takes a lot of, I've tried to edit a few videos. I used to edit videos in high school. It takes a lot of time.
Yeah, I couldn't do it with all the busyness I have, because when I'm not here, I'm doing work somewhere else, or volunteering somewhere else or sleeping when I probably get a chance, So I get a busy life doing all that.
Right. I was thinking too, like I have my older brother, he's a artist. He usually does like kind of like comics and stuff like that. I think it would be so cool for you to have a comic like made after you, or just like something like that, like you as a comic superhero.
I would love to see that kind of stuff. It's just like I said, I'm just the average superhero. I don't see myself bigger than Superman or bigger than Batman, but I want to be that average, that people will look and go, he never gave up. He tried hard to help everybody he could, That's the way I hope the Stigma-Free Crusader gets remembered one day in the future when that time goes away,
Yeah, and I hope it doesn't go away. I hope you continue, to grow even bigger and to reach out to more people, and I hope more people hear about you. And I hope that's kind of my goal too of this interview, to spread the news about what you do. I was glad I got permission to interview you and to do this. And so yeah, I do want to help you in your mission too. I want to help you fight the fight against Goliath, and so I'll see what I can do from my side. I'll see what I can do to help you out too.
Just continue to be supportive, man. That's the number one thing, and encourage those followers, to come on, I got Instagram, I got Twitter, and I even do Facebook, Twitter and Instagram are usually the same things. I just post from one to the other because that's just how I am. Sometimes on the with Facebook, I do a little bit more different things like post
Really?
what we
Okay.
do here at the center and all that kind of stuff because I share their stuff on there. You
Interesting.
know,
I gotta follow you on Facebook. I just follow you on Instagram right now. Yeah.
I'll make sure to send you the links to those things when I
Yeah,
get
please.
off of here.
Please, please. And don't forget to send me the links for I think you said you were acting in something. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just remember though, you're not going to see the guy with the mask on
Yeah.
acting. It's going to be the guy behind the mask.
As for the guy with the mask and the guy behind the mask too.
Well, the guy behind the mask is just the same good-hearted person too, you know,
Mm,
that loved and cares about everything around him. You know, I use that as a split personality when I use this character because
mm,
we try to stay in character when we do our online stuff,
mm,
but I still control the other one like I'm talking to him as I'm talking to myself sometimes. Makes it
mm,
a little bit more fun sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
can see that.
understand, but it's staying in character helps fun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know that you have, I guess, his spirit in you, and you can kind of rely on that. You have that side of
Yeah.
you that you can bring out.
Yeah, the guy behind the mask knows how to cook very well and pushes a lot of the food stuff. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
creative one.
I like that. What do you have a favorite dish you like to cook? A signature
Before I
dish?
had to start, before I had to start on the gluten-free stuff, I'm still learning new things because
Mm,
of that. But I usually used to cook Italian food all the time.
mm, mm.
But one of the favorite dishes of most I've ever done is Skyline chili spaghetti, which
Whoa,
is
what is
based
that?
out of Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay.
It's it's Cincinnati Skyline chili, which is different from regular kind of chili. And you put it on top of spaghetti with onions and cheese and all
Mm,
that.
mm,
And
mm,
it's good.
mm, mm. What makes it different from like regular chili?
Chocolate and they have stuff like in
What?
there like cinnamon and all that too.
What?
Oh, they use cocoa powder, not straight out chocolate.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like, have you had mole before? Because I don't think mole uses like chocolate. Mole like
I haven't had that before, but I know what you're talking about.
yeah, 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 like chicken mole or something like that. Yeah, yeah. I had that for the first time like recently. So yeah.
I'm probably going to have to send you out some Skyline chili then.
Yeah, please. I'll send you some mole.
Hey, that's what we do with this stuff. We learn about each other, and that's how we communicate.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, I
If
definitely.
it if they didn't get discontinued it last year, I would have been sending you something special for the Northern Egg here. They got the special Northern Egg ginger ale. That's probably one of the best. I wish I wish they weren't, expired and what I had, but I would send that stuff to y'all to try.
Like that I would. Oh man,
Taste of Virginia.
I would love that. I haven't been to Virginia, but I would definitely love that. Definitely. Thank you. And thank you for your time too. I think. Are there any last things you want to say? Last.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me, doing all this. Hopefully this helps, more and lets people see who the actual Crusader is and not this the guy that does posting on there for a population's, popularity.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want people to think that's what I'm doing it for, but I hope they do draw more to it, and help expand it out a little bit more, and share the peer spirit, the Crusader spirit with everybody else around them, you know. I'm thinking.
Yeah, yeah, no, no. I think I like when I first looked at your stream, like I didn't see you as someone that, is trying to get attention, trying to, be famous or anything. Like you definitely don't give off that vibe. Like it's
I like being normal.
yeah, yeah, for
Even
sure.
though I do this, I tell people when I go home at the end of the day, my phone is on to help you, but I'm this as normal as can be, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. And that makes you relatable. I think people, yeah, people appreciate
Yes.
that.
I mean, like I said, it's more about caring for people than fame, I don't care if I save one life over 500, that's fine because I made one difference in one person's life, you know. If it gets bigger, then cool, I feel I felt like it was a success of trying, I don't feel like I'm a failure no matter what
Yeah.
when I did this stuff,
Wow.
you know.
And I
And
think that's a superhero mindset.
and like I said, the catchphrase brave, strong, and courageous. It's always the one thing to always remember to anybody out there that's listening or watching right now. Always remember that, because if you use those phrases, it helps you feel less anxious and less worried that what's going on in the current situation. If you can do those three things. And I always tell people to stay awesome, because if you don't staying awesome, it's what keeps the spirit good.
Yeah. I'm gonna take that with me. I'm brave, strong, and courageous. I'm gonna take that with me today and try to apply that more into my life. Yeah.
It's a great thing to do when you do that, because on a Christian side or just the regular side, it's good to the heart.
Yeah. Thank you, Stigma-Free Crusader. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Citizen, for having me.
Thank you. I'm gonna end the recording.